Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. And thank you, Robin, for inviting me to take part in Doulas Doing Business again this year. I'm Terry Nava Anderson. I am a working birth and postpartum doula, birth and postpartum doula trainer, mentor. I wear a lot of hats in the perinatal space. And I'm so excited to talk to you about a topic that can truly change the way that you show up, not just for your clients, but also in your business. Today, we're going to dive into how mastering your doula skills doesn't just make you a better birth worker, it also makes you a more confident business owner, and more confidence, that sells. Normally, when I'm training doulas, new doulas, I'm reminding you that the most important thing about being a doula is being there, about showing up for your client. Coming confidently is as important as the skill set you're bringing. The research shows us that simply being in the room, providing your empathetic self, coming with like that doula skill 101 of just observing what's needed here, staying mindful. That's the most important thing. And then when you're thinking about your business, think about what can you add to that. So let me start sharing our slides. So let's start with a universal truth. Confidence is contagious. When you walk into a space, whether that's a hospital room, a Zoom consult, meeting somebody for the first time and trying to figure out who they are in a crowd, in a coffee shop, a prenatal session, when you're grounded, calm, and sure of your role, your client feels that. And when they feel your confidence, they're more likely to trust you, listen to you, hire you. And here's where the business part comes in. Confidence doesn't just create better birth experience. It makes your consult smoother, your sales conversion easier, and your clients happier. Confidence is the superpower that changes everything. It opens doors to new opportunities. It improves your own mental health. It improves your decision making, and it reduces your self-doubt. Why does confidence matter? Well, partly because 67% of you are likely to underestimate your abilities. And for many of us, sometime between the age of 18 and 14, our confidence dropped by as much as 30%. We then carry that through our lifetimes unless we build a way to get it back. Some barriers to your confidence, negative self-talk, right? Let's turn those I can'ts into I cans, those I don't know yet into I'm learning. We have comparison culture rampant out there. Everybody started somewhere. So start where you are. Start confidently. You're not going to be given a TED Talk on your first run out, but you can practice for it. Maybe there's past trauma or criticism of you early in your life. Maybe you lean a little towards perfectionism. I might know a few people like that. And maybe you're just lacking the support. So what's the doula business equation? Skill mastery builds confidence. Confidence builds trust. Trust turns into paying clients, and paying clients turned into referrals further down the line. So that's a simple formula I want you to remember. Every time you choose to deepen your knowledge, whether that's learning a new comfort measure, understanding medical procedures better, or just sharpening your communication skills, you're not just improving your practice, you're investing in your business. And that time is worth it. What does skill mastery actually look like? Especially for doulas. It's potentially so many things, so many different skills to master in that space. Maybe you'll choose one to focus on that sets you apart from somebody else in your community. How do you make yourself be that go-to person that when something comes up for somebody else in your network, they say, aha, I know who does it better than anyone else, and that becomes a referral for you. Let's start with identifying the skills that you already have and lean into those things. It could be that you have a background in exercise and movement. Can you bring that to the table? Do you have a background in mindfulness, de-escalation strategies, communication strategies? Maybe you're learning more about specific hands-on techniques like acupressure or comfort touch massage. In the postpartum space, maybe you're leaning into helping partners to communicate their needs as well. Siblings, newer family members are sometimes complicated and difficult for older kiddos in that family. Maybe you have some lived experience around clinical literacy, hospital policies, communication and language that happens in different settings, like if a client is working with a specialist, if the baby's in the NICU, maybe you have lived experience around that. Maybe you're just going to learn more and be the go-to person in that. Maybe you're the person who understands trauma-informed care and is really able to get the whole team communicating better for the specific needs of a client who's had prior trauma. And maybe you're just going to do some deeper dives into preparation for giving birth or postpartum or lactation, and having the ability to work with your client through a real strategy instead of just guesswork goes a long way. Every skill that you add to your toolkit makes you more confident, and that confidence is going to shine through in every interaction that you have with your clients. Let's talk about the consults, because that's where most of us sell our services. Your consult is a sales conversion, and that's an uncomfortable truth for some doulas. But when you're confident in your skills, it doesn't feel like selling. You're simply showing how your experience and tools and presence make a real difference. So practice with a friend or your mirror or Zoom, record yourself. Practice until you can explain with ease, talking about your approach or your skill set. When you sound calm instead of hesitant or apologetic, and you can describe the benefit of your services. What are you bringing to the table? What is the benefit for your client in hiring you? Without body language that hesitates, no ums, no staring at the sky, no long pauses. That confidence helps the client say, yeah, you're the one. You're demonstrating your value, and that confidence becomes your closer. So let's have some real talk, though. Lack of confidence is a doubt transfer, right? What happens when you're not confident? You might over-explain your value. You might undercharge. Please know your worth. Say yes to clients who aren't a good fit. You're not reading those cues and screening for people who aren't your best fit. Might not be a place where you're able to shine with your confidence because you don't feel like this is the right client for you. When you freeze up, when you're asked about your process or your pricing, the client will feel that. Even if they don't name it, something just kind of feels off, right? That's why skill mastery is so powerful. It helps you walk into that consult and the client session with clarity, with self-assurance. You stop selling from a place of needing validation and start showing up as a trusted guide. So your skill mastery, even if it's just one thing, lets you step into a consult with, here's what I offer, here's how I can support you, and here's why that is going to work for you, the client. Some practical shifts that you can make today towards that. Start with knowing your worth. Hey, what did you invest in learning that if you're bringing something to the table that you had to learn how to do? Frame your services through a lens of your expertise, use confident language, and speak to the outcomes. Confidence is a practice, not a personality trait, right? You got to show up for yourself every day. Know your own story, know your voice, know your presence. Use those things to your advantage. Don't be less than your own authentic self. You already are enough to start believing that you know how to do whatever this thing is and that is bringing value to your practice. Maybe keep a journal. That journal is about your own confidence wins. Maybe you had a client who gave a referral or in your evaluation said you made them feel confident. Because when you feel confident, everyone around you feels more confident, right? And celebrate each step towards your own progress forward. All those positive feedbacks that you get create long-term loyalty. That's going to be somebody who, when they find somebody who is the right fit for you, is new business for you. Often that best fit is coming from somebody who already knows you, who knows what you offer, and is saying, hey, that person is a good fit for you. Why don't you talk to them? And please, by all means, let go of the need to be flawless. Let go of that perfectionist streak. Building confidence through ongoing skill building opportunities helps you to let that go. Your confidence is also a client experience, right? What your clients remember most is how you made them feel. Penny Swinton told us that in the research that she was doing. I've also heard that from other tremendously insightful people like Maya Angelou. Your ability to lead with assurance, not ego, but grounded in expertise, is what builds trust and security. So let's bring that back full circle. When you have stronger skills, your clients have better outcomes. They feel more seen, more supported. They go through their birth and postpartum experience saying things like, I couldn't have done it without you, although we know that they had the skill deep in, right, to do it without us. It's a lovely sentiment to hear, and they truly feel that way. And what do clients like that do? They tell everyone, right? They refer you to friends, they refer you to their care provider, their midwife, their pediatrician, their hairdresser. They leave good reviews and your name gets known. So yes, skill mastery is good for the soul, but it's also incredible for business. They trust you in those moments with their vulnerability, and that makes a deep impact. So your client results are your marketing. Let's walk through a quick example. Let's say you're a birth or postpartum doula and you are sitting down at a prenatal visit with a client who has a history of birth trauma. They're nervous. Maybe they had a hard time with touch or environment, or maybe they weren't centered as the decision maker on their care team, and it feels like everything happened to them. If you've invested in a trauma-informed training, you're prepared. You know that you do not have to go over all the specifics of what happened before, but in simply making space for someone to be heard and understood and process through that trauma at the level of where are they feeling it now in their body? What keeps coming back as worries? Then we know how to help them come up with some real strategies for either avoiding perhaps what happened before, setting some strategies in place that help them to choose a different provider or go somewhere else, but also in respecting their autonomy, that if it happens again, that they have the words or the team in place to help them stay grounded, stay focused, and get through that experience again in the best possible way. That could be as simple as asking consent before touching, right? But it could be grounding exercises, resourcing, strategies for what happens if they're showing signs of activation or distress, um, strategies for bringing them back into the present, into the room, or letting them do whatever works for them in response to stress and anxiety. That's a person who's likely trusting you with their vulnerability. You're helping them to feel supported. They're more likely in that, therefore, to have a more positive experience coming up. And then, because of the way they're feeling, they are more likely to refer you to friends and to others. So, some key points to recap: advancing your skill set builds internal confidence. Attend advanced doula trainings. Take classes on VBAC or birth justice or lactation or exercise strategies for having a better birth and postpartum recovery experience. Role play those tricky consults with a mentor or peer so that you feel confident in saying those things. Join a mastermind group that might help you with that. Debrief your client experiences so that you're always learning and self-reflecting on what could you add that would have made a difference or will make a difference in finding your ideal client and helping them to have the experience that they're wanting. Practice communicating, not just the techniques, right? Confidence doesn't just arrive, it's built through repetition, reflection, and continuous learning. Confidence transforms consults and sales. So let me give you a few small but powerful shifts you can make immediately to show up more confident in a consult. Lead with your strengths. Don't just list your services, talk about your approach and why it matters. Use strong language. Say, here's how I can help, and here's how this changes outcomes. Not just, I hope that this works, or let me think on that for a minute, and then not having much to say beyond it. Speak to the outcomes. Clients want to know what changes their outcomes. Hold your rates with confidence. You've done the work, you're worth it, and these small changes build trust and credibility fast. Confident doulas inspire client trust and satisfaction. So here's the heart of it. Confidence is not just something that you have, it's something your clients experience and want. When you show up certain of your own skills, grounded in your own value, calm in your presence and voice, you become more than just a doula, you become a guide. Take that energy with your clients into their experiences. That's when change happens. Happier clients equal better outcomes, more referrals, and that adds up to a stronger, more sustainable doula practice. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one area of your doula practice that you want to master next. Give it 90 days. Watch how your confidence in your business shifts. Thank you so much for being here and investing in your growth, for showing up for yourself and the families that you serve. If you'd like to connect further, I'd love to hear from you. I offer mentorship, advanced trainings, resources to help doulas grow their confidence in their practice. And I'd love to hear from you. Any questions, takeaways, or areas that you're excited to build more mastery in. You can email me at terry@harmonydoula or find me online at harmonydoulatraining.com or on Instagram on Blue Sky at the PhD Doula. Have a great day.